Hey, so what's going on, guys? This is Mike Murdis, Gamer Logic, and today we're taking a look at probably one of the last complete in-box games I'm going to be buying for some time, just because, well, my shelves are full. I really don't have any more room for stuff, and this is kind of one I've been looking for a long time, and finally someone got in touch with me and said, hey man, I know you've been looking for Final Fantasy III for a while, complete in box, and wanted to see if I had any games to trade, and actually I had a ton of extra duplicate stuff that he was interested in, so we went ahead and made the trade. Now, a little background about Final Fantasy III, if you guys have not heard the story. Final Fantasy III was one of those games I rented back in the day, and it blew my mind. I was absolutely addicted to it. 2 days just wasn't enough for a game like that. And when we returned it, I went to rent it again, and it was gone for quite some time because, well, this was a huge release for the Super Nintendo, obviously, and you know, I just wanted it. I wanted to play it. I wanted to beat it. That's not a game you can beat in just 2 days. Even with the time I had on my hands back as a kid, you could not conquer a game like Final Fantasy III, or at least see everything you wanted to see with it. So I asked for it for my birthday, and God, I was probably like 10 or 11 or something like that. I was pretty young still, and I begged and begged and begged my parents for it to pick up a copy of this, and I think it was like 79 bucks, but we went to all these local stores around the area and they didn't have it, and finally we went to a Toys R Us, and I remember they had it and we got it, and damn, that was one happy birthday to me. Probably just as good as getting my Nintendo or my Super Nintendo for my birthday, but finally I got it, and this was a game that my little brother and I pounded through pretty hard. So yeah, this is a boxed copy of it right here, and you know, I guess I should tell you guys what actually happened to the boxed copy that I had. In a moment of idiocy, I decided to trade my complete boxed copy of Final Fantasy III years later, and a few other things. I don't remember what else it was traded, but we traded a bunch of good stuff. And I'm typically one for never trading games, so I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. Maybe I just, you know, had no money at the time or whatever, but we traded a ton of classic stuff at, maybe it was still Funko-Land at that point, maybe it was GameStop, I don't remember. But we traded this and a bunch of other stuff for a copy of Grand Theft Auto 3 Vice City, I think SOCOM, and maybe something else. It was 3 games, and we were pretty happy because we had enough credit to actually, you know, get all 3 without paying for anything, so we were pretty happy with ourselves. But looking back on it, totally regret trading it because, I mean, everything about that box was mint, beautiful. You know, I always took good care of my games, so yeah, really disappointed in myself for doing that. So having a complete box copy is something I've wanted for quite a long time, and I've had a loose copy of it for a pretty long time, and kind of similar to Chrono Trigger over here, you know, I just didn't feel like paying out the ass for a game that, you know, is great, but, you know, geez, 200, 300 bucks for a complete box copy, that's just asinine to me. So I've waited a long time to pick this up. You know, I easily could have went to an auction site or went to a couple retro game stores in the area and got some pretty beat up copies of it, you know, tons of sticker damage and other stuff, but for me, my major tip for anyone who collects these games, plays these games, wants to get them in good shape is just wait, and don't pay out the ass for it unless you absolutely have to. But yeah, this is a complete box copy of it, and what I wanted to do was just open her up. I got the copy, looked at it briefly, but haven't really opened it up, and I just kind of wanted to share the nostalgia, if you will. Let's open this sucker up. That box is in pretty damn good shape. It's still smooth. A little bit of sticker damage. It looks like maybe like a price tag was there at one time, but otherwise the box is in pretty damn good shape. And I will tell you that I do have Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy VI on the Super Famicom as well. It took me such a long time to settle for a good box copy of Final Fantasy III that I finally kind of gave up in a sense and just got a copy of Final Fantasy VI, but pretty decent shaped box, which is always good. The plastic game baggie, gotta love that. Dust cover. You know, dust covers are interesting because a lot of people mark their games as complete. I know there's games out there that came with dust covers. I can't remember if Nintendo actually discontinued making these dust covers at some point, or if they all came with them. That's, you know, something I'll have to look up. But looking at the cart here, cart's in pretty good shape from front to back. No sticker damage or anything. A few little tiny scratches here on label, but that's not bad. Looks good. That looks good. Tray. Look at that manual. Now what's weird is I actually have a photocopied manual of this when I picked up my other copy of Final Fantasy III. The manual is in pretty good shape actually. Whoa, you're not going to believe what's inside. Free player's guide. You'll get this incredible player's guide free. I actually have that. I got that with my subscription to Nintendo Power, which is pretty cool. It gives you so much power every month, it's scary. Here's another thing you don't see too much in complete in-box games, and that's these consumer information and precaution booklets, which is it's a little interesting. It just says, you know, you shouldn't douse your game underwater or use alcohol on the contact, stuff like that. Final Fantasy III Nintendo Player's Guide for just 18 bucks. 160 pages, full color maps, and expert strategies. Everything you need to complete this complex and challenging game. A must-have for all serious Final Fantasy III fans. Did not get the actual guide for that. It's one of the few things I didn't get, sadly. Take a look at the map. Now, he did say that there's a little bit of damage to the map here. Just kind of show off here. A little bit of damage, like right here, but still not bad. These maps definitely got their use on them. I can't wait to go through and play this game again. It's been years since I finished it. Looks like someone tried to tape this at one time and then they took the tape out, or the scotch tape is still kind of there, but it's okay. Touch here. Ah, this is cool. A Final Fantasy III poster. Not bad. In really good shape. Now, here are some of the really cool things, though. No Wimps, Final Fantasy III t-shirt, Ultimate Fantasy, Final Fantasy III t-shirt. It's awesome. Final Fantasy III hat. Final Fantasy III watch. Secret of Mana poster. Posters are reprints of our ads as seen in magazines such as GamePro, EGM, and Die Hard Game Fan magazine. Pretty cool. But yeah, really excited to play through Final Fantasy III again, and just wanted to go through and kind of show off the nostalgia of the boxed copy of Final Fantasy III and kind of cap off my collection to most of my box stuff. Kind of take a break from a few games, at least till Midwest Gaming Classic or any upcoming cons. So that'll do it. Peace.